I've not seen such bravery.
Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is the third best selling game in the franchise, with its zombies game mode almost doomed for failure. One map would change that and set a standard for zombie maps to come. What were the issues with the maps prior, and how did this map alter the course of the game mode forever? Before diving into Black Ops 2, Treyarch were running off the success of Black Ops 1, with it selling over 31 million copies and having the most unique maps from Ascension to Call of the Dead, Shangri-La and Moon, all providing new perks, different styles and one having a new cast of characters specifically for that map. This does put a lot of pressure on Black Ops 2 to follow up those maps, which is a tall order, but we would see on the 12th of November 2012, where it would release early onto the Xbox 360, which leads us into the first map this game has to offer. Tranzit is by far the biggest zombies map ever attempted, which was not capable of running on consoles without some clever tricks using the fog to cover up areas of the map so it can be deloaded to help keep the FPS stable, and with the help of lava blocking off two areas making it hard to traverse, and the denizens made it more smooth to play, even though no one really likes the denizens. Though their intended feature is to help make the map more stable to run when a player is running through the fog, slowing them down. Not many people like their appearance on the map, with it being annoying with the small goblins running up to you and gripping onto you, with them taking 3 knife stabs or 2 with Galvan Knuckles or the Bowie knife to get them off you, or if you're fast enough, just shoot them before they pounce onto you. If you happen to be too slow when they're gripped onto you, they will even cause you to go down. Another issue on the map is rooted in how the crafting system works. See, when you spawn into the map, you have 2 ways to escape onto the bus. One by buying the door and the other by crafting a turbine, which is a major part to the map. Crafting a turbine requires 3 parts, which are scattered around the spawn area with you only able to pick up 1 at a time. Now imagine travelling around this large map, building objects, but you can only pick up 1 part at a time. Isn't that annoying? It just so happens to be the way you craft the jet gun, which is the wonder weapon on this map. To give it some credit, the weapon can technically output infinite damage, at the cost of overheating with a recharge between 40 seconds to a minute, and it can even break the weapon, causing the parts to be scattered around the map again. At this point it's not really even worth the effort, as its negatives just outweigh the positive of it doing infinite damage. Then some minor annoyances are the lava splits in the ground, which slow the player down and covering the screen in flames, and the map's perk being Tombstone, which for everyone who's played zombies, it's one of the worst perks in the game, as picking it takes up one of the perk slots, which you only have 4, and essentially creates a tombstone when you go down, which you'll be able to re-obtain the perks and items you had in the next round. So in that regard, if you're new to zombies and keep going down, it can be useful to you, but to everyone else it's a dead perk. And to seal its fate, it's only a multiplayer perk. To the map's credit, not all of it is bad. Well, most of it is. But I respect that they tried to make a map as massive as this on hardware from 2012, and the fact they added another way of transport than the bus that cycles around the map is the streetlights that teleports you into a random different location with the help of a turbine and a denizen, which is pretty fun until you end up nowhere near where you wanted to go. Lastly, this map and 2 other maps have a mega Easter egg that I find to be a great idea, trying to plot the maps together to one storyline and cast of characters. On the 29th of January 2013, the first map pack will release onto the Xbox 360, and then onto the other platforms a month later. This map was Die Rise, with the returning cast of Ve Victus, which included Stuhlinger, Marlton, Misty and Russman that appeared on Transit as well. What makes this map unique is how vertical it is. As Transit 4 was impressive by its sheer size of the map, this time it's more of a vertical approach. The map consists of 2 towers separated by a glooming freefall to your death, where you have to make a leap of faith to cross over to the other side with the help of a new buildable trap, the Trample Steam, which propels you in the way of its facing, making traversal across some areas with ease. What is not so nice is the fact you do take a lot of fall damage on this map, and there just so happens to be one perk that is suited for this map to make it more enjoyable than risking your life going down to the bottom floor. That is the PhD Flopper, which negates fall damage. For some odd reason they decided to not have it on this map, but it is in the map, it's just in a unreachable area that you can see, and later down the line, PhD Flopper does return as a perma perk on a different map, which will be further explained later on. There are multiple elevators scattered across the map that move up and down, letting you get to the different areas and holding perks or the pack-a-punch inside, which can also be randomized other than one elevator which holds Quick Revive and the other that holds Who's Who, which, to be real with you, it costs 2000 points and it is the worst perk in the game. Essentially it acts like Quick Revive, but instead you have to get to your body to regain your perks and weapons, or you just respawn with the default pistol. Say you're on any round higher than 5, good luck using this perk as zombies can just see where you are and kill you when in the ghost mode, and you only have the starting pistol as your means of defense, which doesn't help against the armoured zombie type you can encounter on this map. And if you guessed they had more health than a regular zombie, you would be right. I find this to be odd, as the maps prior didn't have any other zombie types like this other than the bosses, so I do find it to be a nice challenge and a mix up to the zombie types you would see each round. Onto the absolute pinnacle of this map, which is the wonder weapon, the Liquefier, which was insane when it first came out, as it was able to do one shot of this purple goo on the floor and it would wipe out a full horde of zombies, with them falling down like dominoes. But after it got changed, it was still able to do that, but not at the same speed as the pre-patch did. But as if you don't shoot a sign on the map 10 times, which for some reason reverts it back to its original state. The way you get this weapon is like the jet gun, but less tedious, as all the parts for the weapon are in the same tower, just scattered around, and not across an entire town. Which, to be honest with you, for finding the parts it does seem a lot more easier, but the payoff is so much better than what we received in Tranzit. Other than that, the last reoccurring thing you'll see is the bank, which is a staple on Tranzit and on here as well, with them being showers. Honestly, I don't get it why they chose 2 showers to be a bank, but fine, I'm with smuggling stolen cash through pipes anyway. Lastly, the map's dog rounds have these Nova Crawler creatures called the Jumping Jacks, which I think you can guess where they got their name from. I do find them quite annoying to kill as they're all over the place, but I'm glad they don't appear in the normal rounds as an added enemy type. Up until this point, every map was directed by Jimmy Zielinski, other than Kino de Toten, that was done by Raven Software, and The Rees, that was led by Jason Blundell. For this next map, it would be Jason Blundell's turn, as the previous 2 maps were not well received by the community, which it had a lot of annoying gameplay loops and features that were tedious and questionable, removal of perks that would greatly enhance the experience of that said map. Jason Blundell and his team would take a trip to Alcatraz Island, which would give them a lot of inspiration for the next map in Black Ops 2, Mob of the Dead. Released on the 16th of April 2013 on the Xbox 360, it took place on Alcatraz Island. It had a new cast of characters that were mobsters locked up in jail, and is also a reference to real life events that happened in June 1962, with Frank Morris, John Anglin, Clarence Anglin, and Alan West. On the map, they are called Albert Arlington, or Weasel, Michael O'Leary, or Finn, Salvatore De Luca, or Salfa Shaw, and Billy Handsome. When loading into Mob of the Dead, it plays a little differently, as you spawn into the Afterlife mode, which functions as the map's quick revive in a similar way to Who's Who, but it's integral to progressing on the map, with electric boxes scattered around requiring Afterlife, to fire jolts of electricity to power them up, as well as the gondola and the perk machines. One of the biggest changes over the other two maps is the crafting system. Instead of picking up one item and adding it to the crafting table, you now pick up all the items with an inventory system and then build it at the crafting table, which is way more convenient and better than the ladder. Mob of the Dead also introduced a new idea of an earnable throwable weapon called the Hell's Retriever, or the Hell's Redeemer when upgraded, which is obtained by feeding the Cerberus, which, like the myth, spawns in 3 locations where you have to feed the dog zombie corpses till it's full for all 3, and then the throwable weapon shall be yours. For what it's worth, both versions of this weapon are very good at decimating zombies with ease, and a great getaway if you've gotten yourself into a corner. While on the topic of new items, there is also a new wonder weapon called the Blunder Gat, which is a powerful shotgun dropping zombies with ease. But you can build a kit that evolves it into the Acid Gat that then functions like a monkey bomb, with it shooting 3 acid darts that attract the zombies towards it and then blowing up, which is very useful for when you need to get a clean getaway from the horde. Or you can always use the new perk on the map, the Electric Cherry, which costs 2000 points and is again very useful with it creating an electric circle around you when you're reloading, killing nearby zombies, which again helps you get a clean escape from, which, let's be real, this map has a lot of tight corners and all of these items will make your life so much easier traversing this map. To add the final touch, you can't have a prison without the Warden. Brutus is the boss on this map, with him spawning in randomly between rounds, with him being fairly strong and quite tanky compared to the average zombie, and has a few tricks up his sleeve, with the first being he can disable perk collar machines, workbenches, the mystery box and even the plane temporarily, locking it from use, but if it has been powered up you can unlock it for 2000 points that will grow every time he does it. Once shooting off Brutus's helmet, he will drop a smoke bomb that lasts around 30 seconds that can restrict the player's vision so they won't anticipate what happens next. And lastly, you can also disable traps as well, which is a great way to distract him for a short while so you can finish him off. What makes this map so beloved is, for one, it is a really fun map to play, with a lot of choke points where you could die, but it is also heavily lore based, with the inmates stuck in a cycle of building the plane to fly to the Golden Gate Bridge, which is another reference to what happened in real life, to then go back to the map via electric chairs showing their own demise, locked in a constant loop over and over again. But there is a major Easter egg on this map to break the cycle, with everyone but Weasel surviving, causing the cycle to continue and the map to end, or Weasel being the last one alive, causing the cycle to be broken, with the map ending shortly after. As far as I'm aware, this is one of the only maps where you can actually complete it, where the others don't have an end goal, or well, a finishing point to where the game will end. This next map will be the final map made by Jimmy Zielinski, as the next year he will announce his departure from Treyarch Studios, leaving Jason Blundell's team to continue on creating maps for the franchise, which from the success of Deriz and Mob of the Dead, fans were eager to see the next creation from the team. On the 2nd July 2013, the final Jimmy Zielinski map would be released. That was Buried, an Old West themed map buried deep under the surface, with a lot of cool new features and the return of the bank like on Tranzit and Dire Eyes, but this time the bank was way more useful. Remember the part where I mentioned on Dire Eyes about PhD Flopper returning? It returned as a permaperk for this map, which you just had to dolphin dive enough from a certain height for it to kick in. But there are other permaperks, like ones for snipers, where if you hit enough headshots, you literally get double points per each kill, making it a great way to farm cash on this map, or on Die Rise, which you can also deposit that cash you earned into the bank and use it on the other two maps as mentioned. There are some other useful ones like Juggernog, which can only be obtained by going down before round 3 times, and many more other good permaperks that make you feel overpowered, which is the point of this map. Buried is quite an easy map, even though it is quite tight with no real viable way of training, but there are a few mechanics that make it one of the easiest. The first being the chalk system, which you see when you first slide down into the old town, that allows you to place a wall by wherever you want and receive a lot of points for doing so. Then another thing in Spawn Room you can buy is the LSAT for 2000 points, making it the only map to offer this gun as a wall buy. But as a trade-off you can only buy it once with the platform breaking underneath. Then the new perk on this map is Vulture Aid, which functions like 3 mini perks in one for the price of 3000 points, with for one it shows every point of interest on the map. Second, zombies can drop bullets and points when killed, and lastly, they can also leave like a stink bomb that stops zombies from chasing you for a short period of time. Then there's 2 new traps, the first being the Subsurface Resonator, which is the best trap for camping in a corner, as when it's powered it lets off a thump blasting zombies away, making it great for just sitting in the bar or where Juggernog is located. The last new trap is the Head Chopper, that acts like a spring-loaded trap, chopping multiple zombies' heads off at the right height, as well as even inflicting damage on the player if they're not too careful. There is also 2 new weapons on this map, with the first being a cool old western style python to match the old west theme, and the new wonder weapon called the Paralyzer that can output infinite damage, which it takes some time as it slows down zombies till they explode. Unlike the jet gun, it doesn't break, but it does have a cooling off period that isn't as bad as the jet gun. The Paralyzer as well is great for traversing around this map, as you can just float over any debris blocking a path, or using the weapon to reach those areas that are not feasible on foot. There is one new throwable as well, that you can get out the mystery box, called the Time Bomb. I think you can guess what this does. The Time Bomb is a fun throwable weapon to revert the flow of time to a previous round, with the same weapons and perks you had on and then revert it back, which is an integral part of the Easter egg for this map with the new wonder weapon as well. Finally onto the most important part of this map, Arthur, who is quite unique as he's like a friendly boss who will help you traverse the map, that with chugging booze and smashing up some barricades, earning you money from how far he went to smash it up. And if he eats candy, he can do a lot more things, like build traps if he's near a workbench, lock the mystery box in place so it never moves, and some other useful things like killing zombies or even carrying a crawler for you. Overall, this map achieved its goal by being easy, which as zombie maps go, this is up there as getting to the high rounds on this map is quite easy for beginner zombie players, as camping almost feels encouraged on this map, with the 2 spots mentioned being easily fortified via the new traps offered. The witches are a nice addition to the map, though they can be annoying, stealing 2000 points from you if you're not careful, but they can also give you a free perk if none of them touched you. Also, this map introduced a new ray gun, called the Ray Gun Mark II, which is stronger than the Ray Gun, with the Ray Gun Mark II having an insane headshot damage multiplier, but it only fires in burst shots only. This weapon is not locked to Buried, as you can find it on every single map after Buried came out. On the 27th of August 2013, the final DLC for Black Ops 2 would come out. That map was Origins. Set in June 1918 in the northern France, it sees us storming the trenches, trying to survive, with the sky littered with gunfire, showing we're not the only one in battle. The map also returned with a familiar cast of characters, Ultimus Crew, that was established in World at War from Shinonuma and Deriz, and then continued on in Black Ops 1. Loading into the map, you will notice a difference. Instead of starting with the Colt 1911, it's instead the German counterpart, the Mauser C96, with the stats being the same as the Colt but just changed up. This is one of the few maps to have a different starting pistol, with a whole different pack-a-punch weapon as well. One major change is to the power system on this map. Like Mob of the Dead, Origins challenged the gameplay loop of going to a central point to turn on the power so everything works, whereas Mob of the Dead and Origins both make you turn on the power to items in segments, like with the Afterlife system used to shop parts and parts to then get to Pack-a-Punch, or in this map turning on generators that then turn areas power with 6 generators total. Don't think after powering up the generators everything is fine. as after a while zombie raids will happen to turn off a generator on the map. If they are successful in doing so, you will lose the perk that generator was powering. One new feature this map brought is another mystery box, but this time for perks. Costing 1,500 points, it will randomly give you a perk you haven't purchased yet, making it a great deal if you get Juggernog, and Speed Cola, or even Mule Kick, and a bad deal if you get something like Deadshot Daiquiri. When making your way to the 6th generator map, you will come across a tank that acts like the bus from Tranzit, but it costs 500 points to start it up. The tank is fairly fast as it's better than being on foot, as the land it traverses slows the player down, making it an annoying area if you're not too careful. This map also introduced 3 new power-ups that you can obtain, the first being Blood Money, which gives you some extra cash when you use the dig up sites. Next is Zombie Blood, that makes you invisible for a short period of time, like a cool off stage so you can recover or buy some more ammo for your weapons. The last power up is an empty perk bottle, which you can obtain after getting the golden shovel and finding red dig sites. This power up will let you buy extra perks so you can have all the perks on this map. Just like the last Jason Blundell map, this had a new boss called the Panzer, who was kinda like a Big Daddy from Bioshock. He was quite tanky, but decently slow as well. However, his attacks are quite dangerous, with the first being a flamethrower if you're in close range of him, and if you're not and he has a clear sight of you, he will shoot a claw to pick you up and attack you. His last move is a standard melee attack that can down a player in one hit if they are not too careful, so it's best to keep your distance and try to dodge the claws coming towards you. One of the coolest features this map has to offer is the challenges, with them all being based around the map, like powering up all the 6 generators so you can claim a max ammo. Hitting 115 headshots will award you a assault rifle that is pack-a-punched on the map. Then if you spend 30k on the map you can obtain double tap, adding another way to get more than 4 perks as well. And finally, if you fill the 4 soul boxes, you unlock the 1-inch punch, which is a powerful melee weapon, which is your fist that you can send zombies flying away. When traversing around the map, you will notice 3 robots, Freya, Odin and Thor, who will walk through the designated areas on the map, with each robot having a foot that will light up that you can shoot to enter the robot, where you can find a part for the new buildable wonder weapons on this map. Speaking of wonder weapons, there are 4 on this map that are unique to each other and have a specific way to obtain and upgrade depending on the staff in question. Like for instance the ice staff, you can shoot out 3 fires around the map to obtain a zombie blood that can be re-obtained every round, and for a step in upgrading the weapon, you have to shoot 3 tombstones to freeze the water and then destroy them. The rest of the staffs follow a similar end goal of killing zombies when it's placed on a pedestal to collect souls into the staff, with the steps in the middle dependent on the chosen element. The elements are fire, ice, lightning and wind. Each staff as well has a different way of killing zombies when crafted and upgraded. Like for instance with the wind staff, when shooting it normally it's like a thunder gun blasting zombies away. When you upgrade it you can use free ammo to create like a vortex where zombies get sucked into it and die. Similar to Mob of the Dead, there is a new throwable weapon called the G-Strike that is acquired by completing a bunch of steps to obtain the item. One of those steps is cleaning the tablet with 29 kills and then carefully taking it back to the 2nd generator. Yeah, I hate those 2 steps with a passion. The item itself is like a stronger monkey bomb, attracting zombies and then firing missiles from the giant robots you see walking across the lands. Lastly, the Easter egg is just as complex as it was in Mob of the Dead, with the steps requiring the map's new wonder weapons to fully finish the map's Easter egg that builds upon the lore set in zombies so far, which I highly recommend watching some YouTube videos on it as it's really in depth. The final cutscene shows Samantha playing with her toys, which are the characters in the map, and enemies like the Panzer, and tie-ins with the bloody stained teddy bear next to the window, a chalk gun outline on the wall, and Juggernaut even on the floor next to the camera. After that the map ends, leaving the story to be picked up in Black Ops 3. The final map Black Ops 2 had to offer was Nuketown on the 1st of December 2013, which you could play this map before if you had bought the deluxe editions of this game. This map is best described as Shinonuma from World at War, with how the perks and the pack-a-punch machine spawn in random locations every 5 rounds, which also means you can get punished hard if the right perks do not spawn on the map when you need them to. A small detail I really like about this map is that it has a zombie counter next to the house, mimicking the one you would see in multiplayer, but it is kept up to date with how many zombies there are. Speaking of multiplayer, this version of Nuketown comes from when you finish playing the multiplayer map. A cutscene will occur in which a nuke is dropped, destroying everything around it and the map. To wrap up the video, there are 2 other zombie game modes you can play in Black Ops 2, with the first being Turned, on Die Rise and Buried. This game mode is simple. Everyone starts off as zombies and you got to find the cure. Once picked up, you have about 6 minutes to survive, killing the other players with a gun game system of changing weapons. Once a zombie finishes you off, it's their turn to be alive and yours to be a zombie fighting to get back as a human to earn as much points as possible before the timer runs out. Then the other game mode is Grief, which is essentially just normal zombies but with 8 players, 2 teams, both trying to survive longer than the other team to be victorious when the other team are fully dead. Black Ops 2 had a polarising release of zombie maps, which you had the bad with Tranzit and Die Rise, then after some of the best maps in the series with Mob of the Dead, Buried and Origins, with Mob of the Dead and Origins setting a new standard for later zombie maps to inspire, to which they will see in the next release of Black Ops. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. If you have any video suggestions or any fun moments on Black Ops 2, feel free to leave them down in the comments or in my Discord server. I also have a join page if you wish to support the content I make. And with that being said, I'll see you some other time.